Unit 9, Job Application Process. Unit Overview. This unit explains the job application process and takes you through the steps necessary to prepare you for doing a good self and company assessment in landing a job. Here we focus on self and market assessment and recommend vital inclusions in a well-formed resume and cover letter. Objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to know the functions and characteristics of job applications, prepare job application letter, prepare resume, know your responsibilities as interviewee and interviewer, and make successful negotiations with your prospective employee. Job application process. The process of job application is a kind of sales letter or sales promotion activity. The applicant or writer offers his services as a product. To get a suitable job, the candidate must be able to present effectively the facts about his character, personality, ability, and experience. A job letter must have all the elements required for a successful and effective sales message. Of course, the object of a job letter is not to get a post immediately, but to secure an interview with the prospective employer or buyer. The applicant aspires to secure the position through interviews. The first thing the applicant should do in the job application process is pursuing a self-assessment, that means knowing himself. Take time to list skills, accomplishments, and personal values. Self-assessment. Who are you? This is not a simple question. A cursory answer is that you already know who you are, but beyond your surface awareness lie deeper qualities which, when evaluated, prepare you for landing job, your skills, achievements, interests, and even personal values. Being aware of these qualities allow you to better sell your products yourself. Know your skills. Applicant should understand his characteristics, qualities, skills, and potential. He has to describe skills that will give the impression that he is a dynamic person. Know your accomplishments. No matter how young or old you are, you have already accomplished something. Again, stating those accomplishments is a good way to profile your accomplishments, show the result of your specific achievement, as for instance, winning the scholarship award allowed me to travel to Europe. Speaking French and Spanish allowed me to head a student study group to Europe. Know your interest. Analyzing your interests, performance, and attitudes can help you determine in what type of job you can use your skills. Which job have I enjoyed the most? Why? Do I prefer working with figures, machine, people, or ideas? What do I like to do with my free time? Which things have brought me high satisfaction? Which hobbies do I enjoy the most? Know your personal values. Values can be applied to jobs and what you seek to get from them. Look at these descriptions. Each has value attached to it. A desire to help people, a desire to work with them in a personal manner, a concern to make the world a better place to live in. A wish to face risk. You would have to be willing to travel and be concerned with exciting tasks. A dislike for a desk. You would rather be involved in outdoor or physical activity. With above description, order of values are altruism, adventure, and physical activity. These important points must be borne in mind while applying for a job. Remember that the immediate objective of your application is not to secure the job, but to get an interview letter. Highlight your qualities in a subtle manner. Give the complete particulars as desired by the prospective employer in a simple and straightforward manner. Avoid using stereotyped sentences like hoping for the favor of an early reply, assuring of my best services, etc. Type the application neatly and correctly. The format should be that of a business letter. Always set the original typed copy and not the duplicate copy. Types of job applications. There are two types of job applications: solicited, unsolicited. Solicited applications. A solicited job application is written in response to an advertisement from the employer. In such application, the applicant knows that an opening exists and the employer wants to fill it. The writer also knows that he or she possesses the qualification and experience required for the job. One difficulty with solicited letters is that the employer is sure to receive a large number of applications. Therefore, to be considered favorably, the writer must write one of the best applications. Unsolicited application. An unsolicited job application is written when there is no advertisement that an opening exists. In unsolicited application, the writer does not have to compete with others, and he or she can send the same letter to many prospective employers. The main problem with unsolicited job application is that the writer must determine the qualifications and experiences in which the employer will be most interested. Functions of job application. As job applications are intended to sell the writer's services, these should be organized like sales letters. These are the functions of job applications. To draw favorable attention. This is done by giving the application a good physical appearance and by a striking opening. To create desire. A job application should create desire in the reader's mind for the writer's service. This is achieved by an orderly plan of presentation and by an interesting, vivid description of the writer's qualifications for the job. To implant conviction. In this age of too much competition, it is not easy to sell something. Therefore, the prospective employer must be convinced that the services of the writer are worth having. This objective can be achieved by giving specific details, by letters of recommendation, by names of referees, and by results of aptitude test. To stimulate action. The ultimate object of a job application is to secure a position. Before achieving this aim, a face-to-face talk is essential. Therefore, a job application should close with a request for an interview. This request should be made in such a polite and tactful manner that it stimulates action on the part of the prospective employer. Characteristics of a job application. The job application, along with the resume, is the first introduction of a candidate with his or her prospective employer. Therefore, while preparing a job application, besides observing the 7 C's principles, these guidelines should also be kept in mind. The writer should present the message concisely, clearly, honestly, and with consideration for the reader. He or she should give specific, positive, and pertinent information relative to the job applied for. The individuality of the writer should be reflected in the writing. It should not look like a copied message or a message written by an employment agency. He or she should use an appropriate business-like approach. The tone and style should show friendliness but not familiarity. As a matter of policy, salary should not be discussed unless specifically asked for in the advertisements for the post. In describing himself or herself or the product, the writer should adopt modesty. Exaggerated claims and overuse of I should be avoided. The writer should make the appearance of the application attractive and pleasing. He or she should triple check for accuracy of facts, punctuation, grammar, and spelling. He or she should use good judgment in mailing the application. The job application should reach before the deadline. Resume process. The resume refers to a biodata of the applicant or writer. Previously, resume was given in the body of the job application, but in modern times, resume is given separately and the letter contains only a few and the most important information. This separate sheet of paper bearing the heading Resume, Biodata or CV, Curriculum Vitae gives a general and detailed information about the applicant's education, experience, achievements and activities that will benefit prospective employer. Resume works like a visual and helps the reader understand the biodata of the applicant. Employees like the resume because it gives, in a convenient form, complete information about the candidate. Resume contents. The topics treated in the resume include the following information, though the sequence may vary to suit the particular situation and qualifications of the applicant. Introduction. It gives the reader a general picture of who you are, what you want, what you have to offer, and when can you be contacted. Job or career objectives. Based on your self-assessment and an analysis of the job market, you should use a single sentence for stating your goal. Such a statement may be general or specific. General, if you know your functional area of interest. Specific, if you desire more precision combining the functional area with an industry. General goal statement can be an entry-level sales position, an assistance in a brand management area, an entry-level position in institutional lending. Specific goal statement can be an entry-level sales position in automotive parts, an assistant in brand management in the food industry, an entry-level position in the lending section of the savings and loan industry. Education. It includes names of educational institutions attended, certificates, diplomas, degrees obtained with grades, divisions, major and optional courses, achievements, years, places, etc. Work experience. The fourth section of a resume is usually devoted to work experience. Here you include information that helps employers evaluate whether you have the necessary background for a current position. Clearly, work experience similar to that for which you are applying indicates you like the type of work in question. List your jobs in reverse chronological order. Put the present or most recent one first. Keep in mind these points. Give the name, location, and dates of employment for each company. Insert your position and title, if any, besides each company. Use verbs that show your major accomplishments while working for each company. Be precise as to the results of your work experience. Achievements, awards, activities. Receiving any award deserves to be mentioned in the resume. It includes published material, fluency in foreign languages, speaking awards, hobbies, sports, games, and defense services, etc. Personal data. It may include age, date of birth, height, weight, marital status, nationality, domicile, religion, etc. References. It includes the names or addresses of at least 2 responsible persons unrelated to the applicant who can verify the applicant's antecedent. Employers today often ask prior to or just after an interview for a list of references. Including a long list of individuals in a resume is becoming less usual. Follow these guidelines. Limit your list to 3 individuals, complete with information about where they may be reached via phone, fax, letter, or email. Avoid including relatives as references. Choose individuals such as former work supervisors, professors, teachers, colleagues, or business friends. And be sure you have the permission of the individual whose name you use as a reference. Cover letter to resume. In this letter, you tell the prospective employer what can you do for him or her and why you feel you are qualified. Cover letter has one purpose: to attract the interest of your prospective employer to give you a job interview. Resume cover much material. Cover letters focus on precise points. Write one-page application letter consisting of opening, middle paragraph, and last paragraph. In the opening section, we stress the importance of aim, making clear your central purpose. In the middle paragraph, persuade your reader that you have necessary job qualification. In this, your emphasis is on how you can be helpful to the employer. In the last paragraph, you ask for action. Here, more than in other parts of letter, use first person singular I. In this, you ask for an interview and say you will come to the employer's office when he or she suggests. Interview. As discussed earlier, an interview is one of the more common forms of dyadic communication, which is often one-to-one. You and your partner seek to solve a problem, inform, and even persuade. These general purposes are formed in invitations, such as seeking a position, informing about job requirements, solving a company problem, counseling an employee, and evaluating an employee. Interview purposes. As we stated earlier, interpersonal communication is purposeful. As you can see on your screen, some interview situations can be: purpose, seeking position, procedure, candidates speak with company representative. Example: recruiter meets with graduating students or job seekers. Information on job. Job requirements are stated as based on job description or job experience. Senior member or boss meets with new employee early in job experience. Solving problem. Facts are collected, options reviewed, decision is made. Employer talks with successful employee who is abrasive. Supporting solution. Information is collected and arguments are planned to persuade. Manager persuades employee who is opposed to recommendation. Counseling employee. Facts are used to support contention that employee needs help. Employee accused of drug abuse on the job is presented with treatment options. Evaluating employee. Job performance review form is discussed. Supervisor makes yearly review of employee. Gathering information. Data are gathered on why employees leave. Emphasis is on events and not personalities. Manager conducts exit interview. Interviewee's responsibilities. Considerable literature, articles, books, videotapes is readily available for a detailed discussion of the role you play in the process of seeking a job. To be effective, interviews require preparation beforehand, efficient, thoughtful procedure during the discussion, and follow-up afterwards. We suggest 3 stages in an interview process. Preparation before job interview. Thorough preparation is essential. Go through these steps to ensure success at the interview. Understand yourself. A rational self-assessment of your strengths and weaknesses is a must. Know details about available position. Review how your skills relate to the open position. Do homework on company. Analyze the firm. Rehearse possible questions. Brainstorm issues, questions. Speak with insiders. Learn from alumni, from others familiar with the company. Procedure during the job interview. Give positive first impression. Offer a warm handshake. Give a pleasant smile. State your understanding of the interview. Organize your answers. Think of stating a thesis or claim and then supporting that position with data or evidence as you do in writing or formal speaking. Listen. This task is difficult because you may desire to do most of the talking. Avoid confrontation. Ask thoughtful questions about the company or about the position. Offer a conclusion at the end of the session. Who, what, when, where, and possibly why. Obtain agreement on those conclusions. Follow up after the job interview. If there were specific actions to be accomplished, do so promptly. If you are to provide additional information, offer it to the interviewer. If a thank you note is required, send it within a day or so. Interviewer's responsibilities. This section presents detailed suggestions for the interviewer or recruiter who interviews job applicants. Recruiters often have 4 goals. Help evaluate job qualification. Determine the oral communication ability of the interviewee. Can the interviewee think off the cuff in a cogent and logical manner? Give the applicant essential facts about the job and company. And establish goodwill on behalf of the company. Interviewer's preparation before interview. Interviews must be carefully planned and prepared as judgment made by interviewer and interviewee is often subjective. At times, an interviewer may not have the skills to conduct an interview, or he or she may lack the understanding required for the particular interview. The interviewer should plan the interview in this manner. Interviewer should be absolutely sure about the purpose or objective of the interview, as knowing the purpose is an essential prerequisite of any good communication. Interviewer should have a clear picture of the company's organizational structure, the specific requirement of the job, situation or problem for which interview is being conducted. The material to be used during the interview should be prepared in advance, questions to be asked, information to be passed on, and sought to should be sorted out. In case of employment interview, same set of questions should be asked to all candidates for the same post. In such interviews, the interviewer should know the prevailing laws or regulations for employment. The venue of the interview should be peaceful, comfortable, and congenial. Computer interview. The personal on-campus interview still dominates, yet as costs increase to meet candidates face-to-face or in video conferencing techniques, some initial effort is being given to computer conferencing. Basic technological aids needed include a high-speed telephone line and on each end a computer, a small camera, a microphone and some software. Both the candidate and the interviewer sit at their computers and via a split screen can speak to each other and even pinpoint sections of the resume. Your school and even some companies may be in the process of signing up for this interactive system. Suggestions for the computer interview. Stephen Miller offers 7 suggestions for a computer interview. Try out the equipment beforehand. Avoid excessive movement. Use an audio and visual check before beginning. Dress as if the interview were live, person to person. Operate on the assumption that everything you say will be heard. Avoid high contrast clothing. Small cameras have difficulty with contrast. Try to relax. Successful negotiation. If all your preparation for landing a job were successful, one final stage has to be realized, negotiating your final compensation package. Take time to review the salary and benefits package of comparable position before you begin an interview. Most likely, the individual who was the lead interviewer will first make an oral offer. Remember, this is only the first step. Usually such a verbal or oral offer mentions the starting salary, a signing bonus if any, the job title, basic benefits and possibly the person to whom you will report and a suggested starting date. The person making this initial offer then has the responsibility of sending a formal written description of the offer. The more data you possess prior to negotiating, the better equipped you will be for arriving at a package desirable to you and acceptable to your new employer.